Всем привет! As you know, in this stretch of my tutorial marathon on Russian cases, we are working with specific worksheets. In your task, before you watch each video to kind of like work through these worksheets, you can find them linked in the description. And then in the video, I can go over the correct responses. So we already did one for nominative, and today we're working with the worksheet on genitive.
If you like it, please click like. If it's useful, drop a line. If you love it, hit subscribe, like me, подпишись и комментарий напиши.
Okay, so here's the worksheet that I gave you at the end of the previous tutorial. So today we're going to look at the correct responses and I will go over all of the answers. Okay, here's the worksheet with the correct responses. So let's go over everything that we see here. So and on the top we have с днем рождения. С днем рождения, which means happy birthday in Russian. And if you know a little bit about the Russian culture, you know that if Russians actually say happy birthday to you, they don't stop there. They also wish you in this and this and this and this and that. And that's exactly what we're gonna learn today. And it's just part of the Russian culture. We all do that. The more we like the person, the more best wishes we'll actually tell them on their birthday or some other special events. Okay, so let's take a look at the phrase that you might hear, and that's поздравляю тебя or вас с днем рождения и желаю тебе or вам, and all of these things that you might hear. Now, first of all, as you can see, first of all, let me translate it. So поздравляю means I'm congratulating. Поздравляю. And then I'm congratulating you. I'm saying it in a literal way. Nobody in English says I'm congratulating you, but this is the verb that means to congratulate somebody. So, and then you in Russian, you have to remember, can be informal, and that's тебя, or informal plural when you say happy birthday to multiple people, like twins, for instance, that would be вас. Or here you can see вас is also capitalized. So if somebody you're talking to formally, so it's not your friend, it's not your relative, it's not somebody much, 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 much younger than you, not a kid. So usually you would be using, the formal address. So once again, one person informally, тебя, many people informally, вас, one or many people formally, also вас. And then we have с днем рождения, as I said, that means happy birthday, and then и желаю, and I'm wishing, тебе, вам, and that's, again, you, informal and formal. Now, whoever we say congrats to, so the first тебя and вас is actually in the accusative case. So if you want to say, oh, I say congrats to mom, that'll be я поздравила маму. And then whoever we say wishes to, so after the verb желать, we use the dative. So тебе and вам are the dative case. So again, if you're talking about somebody and you say, oh, I wished my brother something, my brother will be in the dative case. Now, if you look up the verb желать or to wish, it actually will tell you that you have to use accusative for wishes after it. And it's really true. So for instance, if you're wishing somebody a good job, you will actually be using accusative. Желаю тебе хорошую работу. But I told you that this worksheet is all about genitive. So what's happening here is when you're wishing something, a lot of the times you imply a lot of it. Now, in my previous example with a good job, you cannot wish a lot of good job. One job is enough for a person. But when you're wishing them like happiness or love or, lots of cool trips, you imply that you wish a lot of these good things. And with the word a lot, много, or actually with the word мало, a little bit, or with the word сколько, how many, usually we use the genitive case, and most of the time we would use genitive plural. And if the noun is kind of like always in singular or it's an abstract noun like happiness, then we still will stick to genitive singular. So all of the forms here are either genitive singular or genitive plural because we're wishing a lot of it. Now, as I said, all of these endings are already in genitive. And one of the tasks that you will have here is to look in the description to this video, and you will see a list of these words in the default nominative form. And once we go through this worksheet, I want you to grab the charts, grab my charts that we work with, and kind of trace how we went from the default nominative form to the genitive, singular, or plural. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through them and give some extra explanations. Okay, let's read. So the first one is «Я поздравляю тебя с днем рождения и желаю тебе счастья и радости». Счастья и радости. I'm wishing you happiness and joy. Счастья и радости. Here we have «Я желаю тебе крепкого здоровья». Крепкого здоровья. Strong health. In Russian, we have other words to say strong, that's сильный. But it's сильный more like physically strong. Крепкий means strong, tough, unbreakable. And when we talk about health, we usually wish somebody strong, unbreakable health. Крепкого здоровья. Крепкого здоровья. The next one is удачи. Удачи, which means luck. Wishing you luck. Lots of luck. Удачи. Next one is улыбок. Улыбок. Smiles. I'm wishing you lots of smiles. I mean, it sounds odd, maybe it sounds odd, but that is actually a pretty common wish. Now, grammatically, I just want to offer a little commentary here. So the word for the smile, singular, is улыбка. Here we have lots of smiles, which is genitive plural, as I told you. Now, for genitive plural, when we have a word that ends in a, we just drop the I, it just disappears. Like mama, mom, комната, комнат. So улыбка, we should drop the a, and we should be left with улыбк, 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 where you have b and k together at the end. And you know, if you're not sure what I'm saying, look up the word form in the description. Now, sometimes it's hard, even for Russians, to pronounce consonant clusters. So sometimes when we drop feminine o or feminine a at the end, we add another letter to make it easier to pronounce. So, and that's what's happening here. Улыбок, улыбок. And next one is we're wishing верных друзей. Верных друзей, which means loyal friends. Now we can totally say хороших друзей, good friends, but Russian often wish loyal friends. And if you're interested in the concept of the Russian friendship, I will link my lecture on the Russian friendship where I talk a lot about loyalty and how important it is to the Russian concept of friendship. So the next one is успехов в работе, wishing you success in work. And literally, we're wishing lots of successes. In Russian, the word успех, success, is used both as singular and plural, depending on the situation. While in English, you usually use it as a singular. So here we have lots of successes, and that's our genitive plural, in work. In plus preposition, because where? In work. So успехов is genitive singular, в работе is preposition. Желаю тебе успехов в работе. So the next one is you'll always hear from Russians. Russians always wish each other love. And that's любовь changes to любви. Любви. Желаю тебе любви. Желаю вам любви. And the word, and again, the short grammatical commentary, the word for love is любовь. And it ends in V in soft sign. And if you look at my chart, you will see that we drop the soft sign and we add E in genitive singular, because love is singular. And you will also notice that we lost the letter O. So sometimes, like in улыбок, we add a vowel. And sometimes we actually lose a vowel. And that's happened in the word любовь. Любовь switched to любви. Желаю тебе любви. So the next word is желаю вам мира. I'm wishing you peace, lots of peace. And мир, the word мир in its original form means peace and it means world. So the same word means two things. So желаю тебе мира. The next word is желаю тебе гармонии, гармонии, harmony or balance, гармонии. The next one is желаю тебе долгих лет жизни, долгих лет жизни. Literally it means long years of life, or I'm wishing you a long life. Now, долгих лет is genitive plural, like lots of long years. And then жизни, of life, is also genitive singular, because like when it's something of another noun, that's also genitive. We'll go over more context for genitive soon. So, долгих лет жизни, wishing you long years of life. Here I also want you to pay attention to the word лет. Now, the word that you will see in the list in the description to this video is год. Год. And in the plural nominative, it will change to годы, годы, or sometimes года. But in the genitive plural, they have to remember the form лет, лет. So that's a regular, and we just have to remember it. Долгих лет жизни, долгих лет жизни. Then the next one is желаю тебе сил и энергии. Сил и энергии, as you can see, you can guess that's kind of like strength and energy. And the word sila, you will see it's in the singular in the description. That means force or strength or power. And usually that's how we use it. For instance, if we're talking about Star Wars, may the force be with you, that's да пребудет с тобой сила, singular. But when we talk about our inner strength, we actually switch a lot of the times to the plural, sili, meaning the energy to do something. And sometimes when Russian people are tired, they can say, у меня нет сил. I have no energy. I have no powers. I have no strengths. And that's where we're also using the word sila in the genitive plural. So we just drop the a, сил. Сил и энергии. So forces, powers, and energy. Then the next one is great for students. And я желаю вам легких экзаменов. Легких экзаменов. Много легких экзаменов. I'm wishing you lots of easy exams. The next one is я желаю хорошего настроения. Хорошего настроения. So in English you say I am in a good mood or in a bad mood, but you're basically saying in, kind of like a location. In Russian, we say we have a good mood or we have a bad mood. So here we're just saying I'm wishing you lots of good mood. Желаю тебе хорошего настроения. Хорошего настроения. The next one is an important one. Желаю тебе денег и благополучия. I'm wishing you lots of money and lots of well-being. Желаю тебе денег и благополучия. Денег и благополучия. A very short grammatical commentary on the word деньги. So in the old Russian, we had the singular word for деньги, which is деньга. And it's been completely lost, but not quite completely. So the word деньги is just built the same as like подруга, подруги, деньга, деньги. And in the genitive plural, we kind of lost the a and added another one, just like another letter, just like we did with the Libak. Денег, денег, денег. But then in all other cases, we will go back to this hard paradigm. I always tell you that if the word is just in plural, then if it's soft, you go with the soft paradigm. But with the word деньги, we actually go back to the hard paradigm because the word деньга is still not that forgotten. And then finally, we have интересных путешествий. I'm wishing you lots of interesting trips. And, you know, I think that's a really great wish for people who love traveling. And then the very final thing, as you can see at the bottom, we have всего самого наилучшего. Я желаю тебе всего самого наилучшего. And that's like all the best wishes you can think of or I can think of is what I'm wishing you. So here are all of the options that we have here. Let me go over them very quickly again. So at the beginning, с днем рождения. Поздравляю тебя с днем рождения и желаю тебе, or поздравляю вас с днем рождения и желаю вам счастья и радости, крепкого здоровья, удачи, улыбок, верных друзей, успехов в работе, любви, мира, гармонии, долгих лет жизни, сил и энергии, легких экзаменов, хорошего настроения, денег и благополучия, интересных путешествий и всего самого наилучшего. Okay, we are done with this worksheet. And as I said, your first task to kind of like follow up on the work here is to select a couple of words from the list in the description to this video and using my charts to track down all of the forms. And if you're successful at it, let me know what words you track down from nominative to genitive singular or genitive plural. Or maybe if you're still not sure how it happened that this was the specific form for genitive, let me know in the comments and I will explain how we got from the default nominative to this specific ending in genitive. And let me show you our next worksheet. And here it is. Okay, so this one is going to be helping you practice the dative case. So once again, everything in this box is already in the dative case, and you just have to find the picture that corresponds to the words. And the topic is, who do you call, like actually call and talk on the phone with, and who do you text? Because whoever we call or whoever we text is going to be the indirect object, the recipient of our action, and is going to be in the dative case. Okay, keep learning Russian. Пока-пока.